Hello everybody, welcome back to Fanblade. Well, the 8-string bass project sort of got put on hold for a couple of weeks. There's a few different reasons why. I won't go into too much detail about that. Suffice it to say, there's 9 days until the gig. It's time to get going. Now, carbon fibre rods. I had a bit of trouble sourcing some of these until I got an email from a fella named Patrick who watches this channel. Hey man, how's it going? Nice to meet you the other day. Thank you for selling me these. I did have second thoughts after I got them home though, because they are 8mm by 3mm and there's a little bit more flex in there than I was really hoping for. I was kind of hoping to be able to get some sort of 6x6, but I mean, as I said, that's not happening. The gig's 9 days away. I've got to get stuck in. I have found the tuners. We have the bridge, we have the body. I'm not touching the electronics at all, they're fine. I gotta make a neck, I gotta start designing it right now. So here's what I've come up with. This is a very nice headstock shape. I'm happy with the shape. It sort of fits my design style. I wasn't sure I was actually going to be able to get there because I've had to make a few compromises just in terms of the way that oddly sized tuners fit. The amount of wood that you need in between the body of the tuner and the actual tuning key itself. Yeah, like you've got not a whole lot there, but way more than you would ever want there. And there's not really a good compromise between the two. Also, had to stretch these ones on this side out a little bit because those two were just too close together. Couldn't quite fit them in. So the whole thing's had to be a bit of a compromise, but I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the shape. This is what I'm going to go with. Now all I've got to do is build it out of wood. I might actually cut this out and stick it on a piece of plywood and make a template out of this, because if I ever need to make another 8-string bass, it's nice to have a template so I don't have to go through all of that again, because it wasn't really all that much fun. But now that I've got it, I'm going to make use of it. I was rummaging through the wood pile and I found a neck blank. It just happens to be exactly the right size and exactly the right length. I believe this was sliced off when I made the multi-scale bass. It was designed to be a 5-string blank. This is fine because we've got a little bit of extra width on both ends here for the 8 strings. It's just basically pure luck that I've got a neck blank that already fits. I don't need to cut one. I can just go straight into scarfing it. Cool. Carbon fibre. Truss rod. That's done. I had a little bit of trouble routing these slots because the carbon fibre is just a fractionally, just a tiny smidge of a millimetre too big for the 3mm cutter. Either that or my 3mm cutter is just a tiny little smidge of a bit too small. So these carbon fibre strips are a very tight fit. I was going to glue them in, but there is no room for the glue. It would all just get squeezed out. And as it is, it's so tight in there now, like it's never coming out. I couldn't get that out to put glue in there if I wanted to. And I don't want to, so that's good. What I am going to do now, however, is cut myself a fingerboard and glue that on. Right, now, here we go. You will note that when I cut the fingerboard, the wood just developed a little bit of a back bow. That is fine. If anything, that's going to preload the neck with a little bit of back bow, and that's going to actually help in this situation, especially if we're going as far as to reinforce with carbon fibre rods. A little bit of back bow is no bad thing. Now, I sometimes get asked what sort of glue that I use, and obviously PVA, preferably aliphatic PVA. We don't get Titebond in New Zealand. Like, there are just a very few suppliers bring it into the country. It's not widely available. And we have a company called Sally's. They're not sponsoring me. In fact, I barely use their stuff at all, because the aliphatic PVA that I normally buy, I can't buy that either. So, however, this is the expensive brand. And I've gone for the exterior wood glue, weatherproof, stronger than wood. But yeah, blah, blah, blah. If it sells, it works, registered trademark. So, take that with as many grains of salt as you need. But on the back it says an industrial grade polyaliphatic cross-linking PVA. Well, frankly, they had me at polyaliphatic. This stuff also dries clear, so it's not yellow, but it is very, very good stuff. I've already done the scarf joint with it. I foresee no problems. I'll let you know later on if it sucks. And that's how the whole tone scale works. Well, I do have to say at this point, that looks completely unnatural to me. I'm starting to wonder if I'm meddling with forces of nature which are best left undisturbed, but yes, I suppose that was Led Zeppelin's thing anyway, wasn't it? I'm just getting ready to cut out the headstock shape, but I noticed something interesting. I just want to show you something first. This is my original German-made Warwick Corvette Proline bass that I bought brand new in 1997. This is a lovely instrument. This has been with me through an awful lot of stuff that I've played and been through with this bass. It's been some places. The Corvette, though, wasn't the shape that I wanted. At the time, they were just discontinuing the Fortress shape, and I couldn't get one at the time. So some years later, in fact about 2 years ago, this is a rock bass version of the Fortress. It's a first generation rock bass, which means it's got a few interesting things. The bridge is terrible. I'm glad to see the newer versions of the rock basses don't have that bridge. Also, it's got this logo here, which is just ugly. Yuck, I'm glad they got rid of that. Also worth noting, tiny little detail, and it's totally relevant to cutting out headstock shapes. This one is cut at a right angle, whereas this one is not. What they've done is they've cut this neck out, they've put a block underneath the headstock to raise it up so that the surface of the headstock is parallel to the table of the saw, whereas this one, they've just taken the whole neck, probably in a jig of some sort, stuck that on, and they've cut that angle on there. I mean, I don't suppose there's actually anything wrong with that. It functions perfectly well. It's just a little bit strange, and I've never seen it on any other bass. Which is why I'm not going to do it on the 8-string. It's pretty simple, really. Yeah, take an offcut. Bit of Cowrie in this case. Double-sided tape it to the back. That'll sit it off the table of the bandsaw enough that you can cut a nice square edge all the way around. I'm going to have to take a couple of bits of the offcuts and glue them on here because the headstock shape is too wide for the blank. Once that's dried, I suppose we're ready for carving. I've marked out where the carbon fibre rods go. It's going to be a little bit of a strange one because where the carbon fibre rod is there, I've got 9mm depth that I can go down at that point. So it's not going to be a super slim D like I normally do. It's going to be a little bit chunkier than that. That's fine. I like a little bit of extra meat on my neck. And like it's an 8-string bass. I'm not expecting it to be, a super comfortable instrument to play. And I've never even played an 8-string, so I don't know how they feel. Which begs the question, how many people have actually played 8-string basses? Let me know in the comments if you've ever even played one, because I suspect not that many people actually have. They're not very common. But I'll get my turn on this one soon enough. Better crack on. And there is a fully carved neck. That's the dirty, dusty, hard work bit out of the way. It's actually come out really nice. I'm surprised at how comfortable that neck is. It's quite a bit wider than a standard 4-string. It is maybe a little bit thicker, but that's no bad thing, especially given the extra tension that's going to be on it. I did not carve through to the carbon fibre rods. I'm very, very happy about that. That's probably a good place to end the video, because this video could easily be twice as long as it is currently, and also you'd have to wait a week to see it anyway. So I'll show you this bit now, and then you'll get to see the conclusion in a week's time. If you are going to be in Christchurch, New Zealand on Friday the 24th of November, then you can have the opportunity to be one of the first people ever to hear this bass, because I'm going to be playing it live at a bar called A Rolling Stone with my Led Zeppelin tribute band, N Zeppelin. Tickets are available at undertheradar.co.nz, 20 New Zealand dollars plus booking fee. But, of course, that's not for everybody, and if you're not able to be in town for that night, then, yes, I'll be bringing you a few select highlights. Or I should say, a few select non-copyrighted highlights. We'll see how we go. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for subscribing. I'm going to go have a shower, and I will see you very soon. Thanks.